Good morning, everybody. It is 10:35 a.m. on November 15th, Wednesday. Today, I'm going to show you a chart setup, and this is going to just be on one monitor, um, multiple time frames. And it's Q charts, it's antiquated. I realize it isn't pretty. The gentleman who I have been mentoring under for a part of my trading time is a big fan of this, and there's other ways around it. The reason why he likes this is he can customize the time frames to unusual numbers. And when I say unusual, I think a lot of traders are used to daily, weekly, 4 hour, 1 hour, 5 minute charts, 15 minute, things like that. But Chris, the guy that I have done some mentoring under, he uses 233 minutes, instead of 240 minutes, 55 minutes instead of 1 hour, and 13 minutes, 8 minutes, these obscure numbers. But the reason he does it is he likes the Fibonacci numbers. And if you don't know what Fibonacci is, or who he is, he's a mathematician from, I think, the 1500s. You can always Google it to fact check me. But what he discovered or noticed in nature, in charts, or we've discovered it in charts, but basically these numbers occur over and over in nature. There's certain patterns that we see. The numbers come from a sequence starting with 0, and then after 0 is 1. Then you just add the last two numbers together. 1 plus 0 equals 1. And then 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus 2 equals 5. 5 plus 3 equals 8. 8 plus 5 equals 13. And you just keep adding the last two digits together and put the sum to the right of that, and you continue on. So Chris uses those numbers in order to plot on charts, and he finds it to be very effective. So, who am I to argue? He's been doing it a long time. There's more than one way to do things. So just because I tell you something doesn't mean that's the only way or that's the best way. It's just one of many ways. Okay. So if you find something that works better, stick with it. Don't let me deter you. Okay. I don't claim to know everything. So let me show you some of these indicators here. So on the right, a lot of this has to be updated. In fact, it's a little bit glitchy, but I'm sticking with this temporarily until Chris finds something better. And in fact, Q Charts is owned by eSignal, and Q Charts exists because Chris has a lot of students, and they bring the revenue to Q Charts. So they're really only keeping it up because of Chris and the group. Otherwise, they would have gotten rid of it. So you'll see some duplications here. So sorry about that, but let's just stick with what's on here. This is the Qs, all right, which is the NASDAQ ETF. So the W, that means weekly. D, daily. This is the 55, which is 55 minutes, and this is the 5 minutes, okay? You see here, these are the default intervals. Let's change that to whatever number I want. Also, Q Charts, because they know Chris, his parameters are already preset. So anyone that pays for a subscription, it's about $270 a month. It automatically has the default settings that Chris told them to set up. So that saves me some effort. Anyway, I'm going to expand this here. So on the weekly chart, this shows you the net change. So if it's green, that means it's up 47.48 cents at the moment. The open is O, the high is H, L is low, and then V is volume. Okay. And so you'll see in this data brick, as you scroll across, the date, the open, high, low, and close change. Let's start on the top. So you see these blue lines. These are the Bollinger Bands. So the Bollinger Bands, it basically is a calculation. Well, all of these are calculations, but the Bollinger Band's a calculation that mathematically two standard deviations means that, was it 96, 97% of the time, the price will stay inside of the band. Notice the band does expand and contract. So it's basically plotted data going backwards in time and doing some type of addition and then average to calculate the next plot. And then they connect the lines, the dots. So if you see something go out of the band, the tendency is it will go back inside the band at some point, whether either the band expands or the price just goes back inside. Okay. The gentleman who founded it, his name is John Bollinger. He lives in Manhattan Beach. Ironically, I actually drove behind him on more than one occasion because that's the area I used to live in. And so his license plate said B Bands, and also the license frame said Bollinger.com. And it was in the city of Manhattan Beach where he lives and where his office is. So it just makes sense. I know he's a multimillionaire, but it's funny because he was driving an old Toyota Land Cruiser. So, you know, some people are not just about having fancy stuff. They're passionate about what they do. I tend to be leaning toward that side too. I mean, I probably don't have nearly as much as he does, but I do okay, and I don't have any fancy stuff. My cars are older. You know, I have clothes that are 15 years old. My alarm clock I've had since I was 21, which makes that alarm clock 29 years old. So, yeah, I'm kind of similar. That's a separate lesson for another day. Read The Millionaire Next Door if you have time. Okay, so the red and green lines here, the red and green lines represent the moving averages. Okay, the red is the 2-period moving average, in this case, the 2-week moving average, and the green squiggly line is the 3-week moving average. So the shorter of the two time frames are going to move a little bit more erratically or more aggressively. When the red line crosses above the green line, if you look across here, that's a bullish sign. Ideally, Chris likes to look at everything crossing on the same candle. This is close, but not exactly. So, you know, there's a little bit of art here, but, you know, ideally you want the lines to cross in the same candle. You want to be more precise. The more precise, the better. So when it crosses, now you have X number of candles to see this thing play out. It's not 100%. You know, all of this is probability. Nothing's for sure. The goal is to win more than you lose. Even if you win 6 out of 10 times, if your losses are smaller than your wins, you'll be okay. All right. So this is the 2 and 3 period moving average. If the red crosses below the green, then you look for, of course, all of these to do the same. And if they do, then that's a bearish sign, and ideally on the same candle. So Chris calls any 3 of these 4 indicators that cross is sufficient. They don't all 4 have to cross, 3 out of the 4. He calls it a triple cross. Now, one of the 3 has to be MACD, which stands for moving average convergence divergence, and then plus any other 2. So MACD plus any other 2, and that will be a triple cross if it's on the same candle. Okay, so MACD recently crossed, and so there should be some room to continue higher. All right, now this is Stoch RSI. It stands for Stochastics Relative Strength Index. Now, I don't have a detailed explanation prepared. However, what you look at is you look for the red line to cross the green, and ideally you'd like to see that happen if it's below this bottom horizontal line, okay? And that means that there's more room for upside. And conversely, when you see the red crossing the green downwards, if it's above the top horizontal line, that's an indication of more room to the downside. So it gives you basically more range, more opportunity to see the market go in that particular direction. MACD is a moving average of moving averages. And like I said, this has to be one of the three indicators that crosses. ADX is the directional index, and I don't have a detailed explanation. The great thing is, this can all be Googled, and I should have Googled it and had something more prepared, but you don't even have to know that. All you have to know is red crossing green. So anyway, I'll put up further videos and I'll have a deeper dive and explanation into each of these indicators. So thank you for watching. My apologies for not having more details, but I did want to show a newer screen, something different than just my trading account. And by the way, my trading account, it's had a very rough month. It was down as low as 78K. And yesterday, the market really, really shot up. But I have more of a bearish position. And so I took even further losses, and I was down over 100K. As of right now, I'm down just under 100K, about 95K. So that happens. I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. I want to be transparent. I rolled out my positions, as you saw in a previous video. So, there's 7-8 months of time on a lot of my positions to see the market recover, because those are the expiration dates on some of my heavier positions. And I do have positions expiring sooner than that. However, they're trickling in here and there. The heavier positions are out 7-8 months, maybe even 10 months. So that's what I signed up for. That's how it is. I learn a lot from my mistakes. I hope you do too. Money management is key. I could have done much fewer positions and had a smaller loss and had more cushion on the side, but I did go in more aggressively, and so I am paying dearly for that right now. All right, enough babbling. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you soon. Take care.